Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a dual perspective video. You're looking at an Object 140, the Tier 10 Soviet medium tank. It's located on the north spawn of Serene Coast, and this one is under the command of the BassmanFromHell. But also in the same team is D-Tronics. Yes, D-Tronics in REBRN, he's in the E50M, so we're going to see it from Bassman's perspective first, in the medium tank with a 100mm gun. Oh, he got rammed by a Batchat 25 ton there. It's an all tier 10 game to start with. And yes, he's got the 100mm gun, which is capable of doing 320 alpha, penetrating 264mm with standard, and with AP heat rounds that goes up to 330mm. He was spotted by the enemy 140, so to avoid getting struck by one of the three Arty, he's decided to wait here for a moment next to the rock, so he goes unsighted. He's just having a quick check. Is there anybody there? No. He's checking towards the dip though, because he's expecting the Object 140 to come flying around that corner. There's the Object 140. It's actually over on the far side of the battlefield. Got a T110E4 off in the distance, heading away from him. So he's decided to make a quick dash next to the rocks. He's getting spotting on that E4. Well, he's not picking up any spotting points yet, but he is in sight of the guy. Now, is there anybody guarding the Artys? Well, there's a Progetto 65 the other side of the railway line. Yes, there is. And he gets a shot into a griller. Very quick shot. High roll as well. But the griller, of course, has got the 15cm gun, capable of doing 750 alpha, so he doesn't really want that guy to fire back. Now, apparently there's two Object 140s on the enemy team, and the one that he saw earlier is the one that's over the other side of the tracks. There he is. Hello. Puts another one in. So the one we saw over on the far west side is not the same one we saw earlier. But he's just waiting here for the moment. Now it might be pressing things a little too much if he tries to poke around the corner and put another shot into the griller. So he's decided that's probably not the best thing to do, because the griller might be waiting to return the favour and punch a huge hole in him. EBR 105 has been seen on the enemy side, on the other side of the railway tracks. He is coming up to the crossing. Turns around and stops all of a sudden. I wonder why he did that. Maybe it's because he doesn't want to cross the railway line, because he knows if he does, he's going to get spotted immediately and shot at. Is the griller still there? No, the griller has moved. Well, that's hardly surprising really, considering the fact that there are a number of tanks approaching the enemy's area now. There's a few tanks out in the peninsula as well. Note the griller's still not there. It's almost as if he's tempting Bassman to actually come around the corner and then it'll hit him. Okay, there's enemy tanks over there, but I don't think they can see Bassman at the moment. Of course, the griller could be round the corner from one of these rocks. In fact, it's fairly likely that the enemy griller might have actually moved into the corner at K7, and he's now taking pot shots at our guys on the peninsula. And he goes past the gap. There's one of the enemy Artys. Now his sixth sense is going to go off any second. Takes a shot. It looks like he's AFK. Somebody was saying to me the other day that maybe what they ought to do is that... Oh, there's the griller! The griller has been spotted. Yeah, somebody was saying to me the other day, they said that should AFK tanks be penalised? And I was actually suggesting that maybe they should if they're inactive for anything longer than 5 minutes. And after the 5-minute point, if they still haven't moved at all, if they're totally inactive and the gun hasn't even changed position, then yes, they should be inactive, they should be blown up, and the points distributed to the rest of the players on the team. That T124 is going to die if he can get the reload in time. No, he doesn't. He can't get through the hull that way. In fact, he bounces around from a Jaegeru. The enemy Object 140 is fairly close, so he's backed himself in between these buildings for the moment. But the Object 140 saw him, and there's a possibility he's actually headed this way. So Bassman's backing himself up, giving himself some cover from that Guerrilla 15. There's the Object 140. Puts a nice one into his engine bay for 300. Changes direction. And yeah, he's remaining very fluid actually. He's getting a sort of like feel for the tank, almost like skill. You see this way that skill almost dances the tank around, changing its direction. He's actually focusing on what's going on around, and the movements of the tank, well, they're just fluid. It's almost like he knows which fingers he has to press to get the exact movement he wants. Side of the turret of the T-57, that's gone into the autoloader. Probably ammo racked him. Might have, but it certainly probably disrupted his loading system. T-57 decided not to break off and come after Bassman though, and that could be expensive for him. Bassman can pop into this little area here, come around the corner and ambush him. The IS-7's headed this way. He fires one in, turns to make a dash if he needs to. The IS-7 couldn't get his gun to bear, and the Bassman's away again. But this time round, it looks to me, knowing that there's only 2 enemies left, he's going to avail himself of the opportunity to get some hit points. The IS-7's actually preoccupied. He's not looking this way. Hello. Oh, now that was expensive. He took around for 524, which is a high roll. Tries to get in through the spaced armor, doesn't get it. So he's going to shoot into the rear and gets him that way. Nice. Now there's only one enemy left. It's the T-57 Heavy. Hello. Yes, nice easy shot there. And the T-57's not loaded, so he can go for another shot and take the kill. And that was the battle from Bassman's perspective. Now let's have a look and see what it looked like from D-Tronic's view. And here's what it looks like from D-Tronic's view. You can see Bassman's disappearing off there into the distance, moving towards the enemy. Now D-Tronic's, the E50M, it's basically a very, very large medium tank. In fact, it's all but the same size as a Tiger II in many ways. And it shares some of the design cues from it as well. Sloped frontal armour, narrow turret, and this one's got a 105mm gun. It's also got the transmission up front, which is why the E50M differs from the E50, the Tier 9 version. Well, the gun is capable of doing 390 alpha, penetrating 270mm with APCR, and with heat rounds it'll go up to 330. Now D-Tronics has had a lot of success with the E50. Let's see how he does with this one. Well, first shot on the Object 140 on the enemy team is a nice hit and a high roll. Now just needs to use the gun depression. Oh, nicely bounced around.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Nope. Turret's very tough on the Object 140, but they are prone to ammo racks and fuel problems. And he got the cupola. Very nice. Another weak spot on these tanks, the cupola. Took a round from the GWE 100 there, which landed nearby. He lost 118 from the splash. Tries again for the cupola, doesn't get it. Still wearing off that stun. Of course, the GWE 100 will be firing again very shortly, so he needs to be aware of that. You might need to change direction or alter your position just a little. Okay, now he's got an advantage. Goes for the pattern. The Object 140 goes down. Takes a round in the rear from this EBR 105. And there he is. He made a drive-by. And there you go. There's the Arty again. I know a lot of people will say, oh, isn't Arty focusing on me? No, it's because you see, Arty has to invest a lot of time in dialing in. And that's why they will focus on one specific tank, because they can see that that tank is a threat, and they will do their best to try and take it out of the game. So they might fire more than a few shots at you just to take you out of the game, specifically because they perceive you as a threat. It's not down to XVM. Most Arty players don't actually watch XVM. They just feel that you are a bigger threat to their team than somebody else. Plus, of course, they've invested all the time in dialing in on you, and therefore they want to make sure that they get some return in form of in the form of your hit points. Well, D-Tronics has abandoned that previous position because he didn't need to move forward, and there's a killing ground ahead of it, formed by the M48 pattern, the Object 140, and the Progetto 65. If he goes through the dip, he can sort of like outflank them and come up behind them, and he's found the Progetto. Pumps around in, but it's a low roll, 359. And the EBR comes into sight again. The Progetto's dead. Okay, so now he can focus on this EBR if he can get a chance. Yes, he does. Nice hit, but low roll, 378 again. That damage gun's not holding him up. He fixed that, and it's always worth fixing a gun, actually, because if you ever get a round through the gun, you can see there's a big mark on the barrel. It does affect your accuracy quite a lot. This is a laser accurate gun, but he needs to be able to get shots on the enemy. Oh, took a round from the M48, but he got around into the GWE, the guy who was hitting him, and now he's got to deal with a Heshbon who's not looking this way, so he fires into the back, hoping he can get an ammo rack. Back of the turret's the best place to fire on this one. Yeah, puts another one in. Gets that. It's a low roll again. Next one will kill. He just took a round from another GWE 100. Now, will that FV4005 be looking this way when he moves forward? He might be looking at the 121. No, he's looking this way. But he takes him out anyway. So that's his first kill. 2.6k of damage already. Block 1.3. Okay, now that M48 pattern. The better pattern, the tier 10 version. Yep, nice. 428 high roll. If he can work with the 121, they can take this guy down. Just need to keep him focused on one target at a time. I think he is actually looking at the 121 at the moment, and it might be a good idea for D-Tronics to push at this moment. Get in there, get the kill, because he's looking the other way. The Wizzy 132 has seen the same, and he knows, and in fact actually it's the 121 who gets the kill. Okay, there's 7 enemy left. They've got the peninsula at the moment. What's he going for now? I think he's going to try and clear out some of the enemy from this area. There's the Object 140. Now he's reluctant to actually enter the camp because that would make the enemy team react to him. Oh, there's the Gorilla. Nice shot! Right through the gun shield. And the 121 takes the kill. Okay, so we can enter the cap now. It would just distract the enemy and sort of like force them to come back. Oh, narrowly dodges the Wizzy. The 140 is just over the ridge line. He's waiting for us to come over. He does. And rams him for good measure. Now he can shoot him. That's it. Got the kill. There's only 2 enemies left. The IS-7 and the T-57 Heavy. I'm not sure he's going to get there in time to get the kills on them, but he might as well try. I7. Oh, we can see Bassman's there already. He's circling the guy, got behind him, and takes him out the game. And there's the T57 Heavy. It's a long-range shot. He fires one in, tracks the guy, and then Bassman pops around the corner and finishes him off. And that was the end of the game. So, pretty good game for both of them. And let's have a look at the end of battle stats now and see how they did in that game. Well, this is Bassman's results, and in the Object 140, he only got a third class tanker in the game and a fire for effect, but he did do a lot of damage to the enemy, and he also got a win rate of 3015, which is Super Unicum standard. So if we look at the team scores, we can see that, well, he didn't get the highest in the game. That actually went to D-Tronics on his team, but the highest scorer overall was the FB4005 with 4,212 hit points. Then it was D-Tronics with 3553, and after him it was the 121 who got 2,998 hit points. Bassman followed up with 2,694. When it came to kills though, it was shared between the 121, Bassman, the Wizzy 1321 all had 3 kills each. T57 Heavy had 2 kills, so did the Badger. D-Tronics only managed to get 1 kill in that game, unfortunately. And when it came to base XP, it's D-Tronics at the top with 899. 893 goes to the 121 and 877 goes to the Bassman. We'll look at detail report for Bassman first. 14 shots fired, 12 direct hits, 10 penetrations, damage of 2,694 hit points, of which 283 were at more than 300 meters. He received 2 hits, one was penetration, one non-penetration, and he blocked damage of 1,050 hit points. I think if I remember correctly, that was a shot from a Yaru that bounced and didn't actually pen. So I think he was very lucky not to get hit by that and suffer a major loss of hit points. 3 enemy vehicles were spotted, 6 enemy vehicles were damaged, 3 destroyed, and 508 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 51,726 credits, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables took away 9,723 credits. Yes, he did fire some premium ammo during the game, but not a lot. 7 bonds for being in a tier 10 vehicle, 1,315 XP, 5,264 for completing the mission and events, and took away 6,579 experience points altogether. If we now look at D-Tronics results, we can see he did a bit better actually. Got a second class tanker. In fact, this is the first time he's had a second class tanker in the E50M, the tier 10. He's actually got a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a spotter for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage for his team, a master gunner for getting 5 armor penetrating shots in a row, a hand of God for surviving the battle hammer, received damage from 4 different enemies, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one he managed to get. Well, it's showing 4 actually, but yeah, I suppose that, no, it does say 4 here, but that's 5. Very odd that, it's saying 5 critical hits, but it only counts 4 at top. Very odd. Well, anyway, he got 5 critical hits. It's actually recorded as a bruiser, but he did get a Confederate as well because he hit more of the enemy than anyone else without getting kills. And his win rate from the game was slightly better than Bassman, only slightly, 3,246 base experience points, which is Super Unicum standard. And we saw the table. We know that Bassman, Rob D-Tronics, got the top of the table on his team. Not the top overall, but the top on his team. And if we go into the detail report, we can see that D-Tronics fired 16 rounds of 105mm ammunition, 14 direct hits, 10 penetrations, damage of 3,553 hit points, of which 364 were at more than 300 meters, 7 hits received, 3 penetrations, 4 non-penetrations. A lot of those bounced off the armor, the frontal armor of the E50M, which is very strong. And of course, the Object 140 only has 6 degrees of gun depression. And when he was trying to penetrate D-Tronics, he was having a lot of difficulty trying to get the gun to lay on him. And of course, it was just bouncing off the armor, as was intended. 1,350 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged and 1 kill, so he was a very busy man. 1,362 experience points, or spotting points actually, for that game, and that's where he got the spotter medal. On a premium count, he earned 58,838 credits, and after a repair and ammunition resupply, took away a profit of 18,937 credits. He earned 7 bonds for being a tier 10 vehicle, 1,348 XP, times 2 for the first victory, 2,698 for completing a mission, and took away 5,395 experience points altogether. So not a bad game actually, if you think about it. Combined damage of 4.5k, because it's 3.5 there, 1.3 spotted. Yes, it's not a bad game as well, but it does show that the E50M is actually quite strong, and depending on how you play it, you can actually annoy the enemy by not allowing them to actually get shots into you, because the rounds will just bounce off the frontal armor. It's so well angled that if you are shooting over a ridgeline, yeah, they're going to suffer a lot of bounces and it's going to be very uncomfortable for them. Whilst the 105mm gun, which is laser accurate on some occasions, will still be piercing their cupolas and putting shots into their weak spots, upsetting their ammo racks and setting them alight. So not a bad game for both players, for Bassman and for D-Tronic. So I hope you enjoyed this dual perspective. If you did, please give the video a like, do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.